Okay, what's up, people? Welcome back. Welcome back. Hope everyone is doing well. Good to be back on the streams. Apologies for the absence, but we're back, and hope everyone's doing well. And funny enough, we're starting December as well, so it's going to be an interesting end to the year as well. But as always, if you're enjoying the content and the weekly analysis, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, we'll go through a bunch of markets. So, any interest you guys have, any charts you're trading, drop it in the chat, and we shall discuss. Also, I'll share any trades I'm looking at or any trades I'm in as well. We can take a look at that, deep dive into that as well, and where my best opportunities hopefully will come this week as well in Forex markets. But if you have any recommendations, drop it in the chat, and we shall take a look. What is up, Yusuf? Welcome back to the stream. Good to see you, man. Hope you have been doing well. What's up, LFTJ? Cancel your flight to Kigali. Yeah, you're gonna have to cancel that. Hopefully, get a refund. It's good to see you as well, Dre. Welcome to the streamer, man. Hope you're doing good. It has been a while. Yeah, to be fair, it's been good. To be honest, it's been good. Weather's been good. People are friendly as well. Just unfortunately some issues with the technicals in terms of the Wi-Fi connections, but hopefully it's a lot better now, and I think it is as well. So we'll just get straight into it, guys. Again, as always, any recommendations, drop it in the chat, and we shall discuss. But I am in a dollar CAD position, which I hopped into this morning, looking for a bit of a bounce here, as we have achieved a nice reaction at support. I was actually eyeing up this one at the end of last week, but because we had the end of the week, so I didn't really want to take the trade as the week's candles closing. I'm just going to be holding over the weekend just as prices at my entry. Not the best situation. So wait for Monday to open up and see how initially London session went. And we're still holding support here. Dollar is not looking the best right now, so we will discuss the DXY. I am still looking for some dollar strength, but it's a little bit wishy-washy right now in the DXY in terms of actually getting that follow through. So we'll discuss that in a moment. But dollar CAD in a really nice place, really nice wick to the downside, holding support. We've got a nice demand zone to our left as well. All I'm looking to see is if we can get a reaction to that 1 hour, which is where I'll manage the trade. I'm looking to see if we can get continuation back to the high at 1.414. So that's the bigger move I'm looking for. But of course, whether price gets there or not is not up to me, unfortunately. So 1 hour is what I'm looking at to start manage the trades. I won't go to complete break even, but I will reduce the risk of the trade and take some partials. And then hopefully we can get that follow through back to the high. And hopefully new highs as well. And if USD is strong, perhaps the trend can continue. So I'll manage that trade and keep you updated with how that goes. Only trade I'm in at the moment. And I have a few pairs which I'm looking at this week, which we'll go through. Yes, we could take a look at Euro USD, Theo, no problem. It's good to be back, Yusuf, and good to chat to you guys again. It has been a while. So it's good to be back. Yeah, thoughts on Euro G. We'll go through a bunch of USD pairs. I think we'll just go through the USD side of things. I'll start with the DXY, but then I will progress to Euro, Pound, and other USD pairs. And of course, any other requests, happy to go through them. So just drop in the comment section. But you can see USD is just a little bit wishy-washy. I've been looking for a lot of USD strength, and to be fair, we have seen quite a bit of USD strength as the weeks have progressed, but we are failing at 100.3. We're struggling here. Essentially, this resistance to our left is doing pretty well. So if USD is going to be strong, we need to rally through this, which at the moment, not happening. Of course, perhaps price is coming back to retest support and might have another attempt, but we can't be confident that that will happen. The market is speaking to us right now, and we failed twice at this level. So I'm looking to see if we can get a bit of a bounce for the DXY at this low. This is where I mentioned on my weekly analysis. I said if this demand zone doesn't hold, which it looks like it's not, then all eyes do come to this level here at 98 or basically 99. So this is where the new interest lies here for the dollar. Can we get a bounce here? If so, how big of a bounce? In terms of opportunities, it's a smart place to be looking for entries if you are looking for USD strength. So shorting euro, shorting pound, shorting Aussie dollar. You kind of want the dollar to be testing this area to anticipate that bounce. Right now, we're kind of in free fall and a bit in the middle of nowhere as well. And if I look at the bigger picture, the real danger with the DXY and the overall trend is, this situation here where we could easily get this, which is again going to favor USD weakness. And if you're looking for any ideas to keep shorting pound, keep shorting euro, that's not going to go to plan. So as I said in the weekly analysis, if price does break this support, that's when I completely go neutral on dollar, or perhaps even go bearish if it's a very strong break and there's some real conviction there. I might even look for some pullbacks. But at the moment, strong rejection of the high, not really seeing any conviction. This support level could give us a bit of a bounce this week, but I'm not looking for any home runs in terms of back to highs or new highs this week. Being a bit more pragmatic given the situation here. So yeah, USD in a bit of free fall right now. If you're looking to buy the dollar, I would say, let's say if we can get to support anywhere around here this week, this is where I can anticipate a bit of a bounce, and then we'll go from there. In terms of Euro USD, same situation here as well. Pretty strong close this morning above last week's high. So we're seeing momentum start to pick up. And it's kind of the same situation. You kind of want to see Euro push back to resistance here. Then we see what type of reaction we can get. And if you're looking for shorts in Euro, this will be the place for it. Again, I wouldn't be looking for home runs this week. I wouldn't be looking for this to happen. Again, maybe that is going to be the bigger move, but I wouldn't bank on that happening. Again, Euro is quite flat. If you look at the bigger picture, you can see how flat the market is. We're not really trending well in either direction. Price is quite flat going down, quite flat going up too. So it's more actually we're trading a range bound market rather than a trending market right now. And of course, if you're trading range bound, technically you want to be at the extremes, or if you are going to trade within the range, you don't want to be holding onto those trades too long. You want to be in and out, or manage the trade quite aggressively, and you can leave runners to run if you want, but you're not expecting home runs every time here. So as we do approach resistance, this is a smart place for a short for Euro USD, provided we see some healthy rejection, of course. But again, not looking for a big move. Pound USD, I can drop to the lower time frames in a moment as well. Pound USD, I was looking to see if I can find some shorts this week, and I still am looking for shorts, but it's very important we do break underneath this low, this high here. If we can break underneath that, then this turns into a bit of a fake out, and we could perhaps see something like this for a push back to these lows, so on and so forth. So if that's going to be the case there for pound USD, then I'm looking for either to enter on the closure back below the level, or perhaps a retest and then a continuation. Either way, it's important prices underneath that level if we're going to short pound USD. I do want to note for pound that I have to be careful too, which is why I really want to get a nice tight entry, is because prices also has swept some very significant lows here, and we have recovered that pretty aggressively. So that's something to keep note of, because perhaps prices swept these lows here. We're now back above support. Perhaps price could rally from here as well. And it does make sense looking at what the DXY is doing. Perhaps if the DXY is going to make this move here, so if we zoom into this daily structure, if the DXY is going to do something like that this week, no, not this week, of course, but in the next few weeks, couple of months, let's say, then it actually coincides very well with pound USD price action, sweeping the lows there too, back basically in this range. We could see something like that happen too. So always have to be aware of both sides of the market here. So I like the shorts here, but I'm going to keep one eye on that. So if there's a situation where I can get a nice tight entry like this, let's say on the retest of that level, some stops, let's say 1 ATR above the level, or even above the high there. If I can get a move back into this area, a nice 1 to 2, I'll be happy with that. And then I'll see maybe if I can get the home run or not. Maybe price finds support and goes against me. Maybe it does continue. I don't know. But at least I can be aware of, if it's going to go wrong, where is it going to go wrong from? So pound USD, all eyes on this level, and equally too, we could find support here and continue, and then I won't be looking at shorts at all. So keep that in mind as well. In terms of intraday, because I can look at intraday too, let's drop to like a 15-minute chart. In terms of the intraday, again, price is finding support here. Took out this low, recovered it, nice push up. Intraday, I want to be operating in this area here. This would be the prime place for a buy because, of course, seeing bullish momentum. Of course, we're aware of the higher time frame, so be a bit pragmatic, but I like this support level here. If you can push into that low, have a bit of a bounce there, that's a smart place to position yourself. And then again, maybe you get a nice reaction, maybe action and rolls back over, but still you're positioned well to still take advantage of a move higher. So, you know, even a small move could still be a small profit. Best case scenario, maybe this is a big flag pattern. Oh, that's a horrendous line. Maybe this is a big flag pattern and you're seeing continuation back to the high potentially. So yeah, if you're intraday, I would focus on the lows there. I think that's a smart place for a long. If we take a look at Euro USD intraday, Euro USD intraday is just having a breakout right now, so I wouldn't be looking at longs. I'm not a big fan of trading breakouts, especially in a big ranging market. If it was like gold early in the year when we had that aggressive trend, yeah, breakout's actually quite a good method because you just got so much momentum behind you, you're likely to continue. But in a choppy Euro USD chart, breakouts, unless you're very, very skilled and timed with them, most of the time, not going to perform too well. So looking for retest, this could be an interesting place for price to come back into. Altogether, I think the pound USD is just a superior opportunity. You've got a better risk to reward, your position better. It makes a lot more sense, and of course, the similar markets anyway. But yeah, we'll see what we do in the higher time frames at that bigger level there. Hey, what's up, CS? Welcome to the stream. Hope you do good, man. Welcome back. Welcome back. Long time no see. Lesoga, what's up? Good to have you back as well. Good to see you. Gold BTC, yes, we can take a look as well. Tony Gold, my man, what's up? Welcome to the stream. CS PMI reports later, yes, might give us a direction or not. Yeah, the market. I mean, we are seeing a bit of momentum at the moment right now, so it's like the markets are probably not even waiting for the PMI, but of course PMI could change things around or accelerate things too. But yeah, at the moment things are looking pretty bearish. What's your bias on the DXY, guys? Is people bullish, bearish? Of course, I know some of us are intraday, some of us a bit more swing, but I'm interested to find out. For me, I'm probably very short-term bullish if we can collide with this support level and look for a bounce. But bigger picture, I'm actually leaning a bit more bearish or just neutral because effectively we do have a very flat market right now. And this could get really choppy, to be honest. It could turn into something like this, which, yeah, you're not going to really find much direction there. So yeah, I'm leaning towards a bit more neutral to slightly bearish in terms of the bigger picture. Short term, I'm looking to see if we can bounce off support here. Again, how far? That's a different question. That's up to the market to decide. But USD is not looking fruitful. Anyway, I'll go through gold and BTC for the Sogo. Okay, you're bearish, Jonathan. Yeah, I think that makes sense, to be honest, especially with price rejecting the highs too. Especially if you're looking for an intraday move back to this level here. If you're looking for shorts intraday to that level, that makes complete sense as well. And if we break through that, then we can probably expect a lot more downside. Bias and use indices, good question. We'll go through that. Indices have been looking quite interesting. Let's see what the Fed says tomorrow. That will give us more clarity, of course. A minor bullish to neutral for now. Yeah, I think that's a good bet. I think I don't want to be overly bearish or overly bullish. Going back to 108. 108, okay. Very, very bullish there from CYZ. 108 would take us all the way back to like Jan highs. No, not quite. But Very, very close. Yeah, potentially. Again, as a trader, we might get the, we might not. The idea is wherever price goes, we're trying to make a profit. If it gets to 108 or 98, um, still trying to make a profit either way. But yeah, I just think just playing it a bit more safer because I've been quite aggressively bullish for the past maybe 3 weeks. Now that we fell twice at that level, that's made me change my tune a bit. So I'm being a bit more cautious now. Anyway, we'll go through gold and BTC. So, yeah, gold, I've actually been keeping up to date with gold, to be honest. Not a market I trade a lot. And since we kind of changed our tune a little bit from the aggressive bullish trade, being a bit more in the pause mode for gold. But I have to say, over the past maybe 3, 4 days, momentum's starting to pick up and things are looking interesting again. We do have some resistance just by our heads here, which looks like price is breaking through, but nothing concrete yet. I wouldn't say this breakout is like, wow, great breakout. It's still a little bit early, but it is giving us the signal that maybe momentum's picking up again, and maybe we are going to push back to highs here. So I do think gold buys is the best play here because although we have been flat, we are starting to now put in higher highs and higher lows, which tells me that the buys are slowly stepping back in. And now, again, another higher high. I like that. In terms of areas to keep an eye on, I'll be looking at some areas of demand here that gave us that push. Of course, you've got the larger areas slightly below, but I'm not too sure if we'll see a pullback that deep. I think this is the more feasible opportunity here and more likely one to actually set up. Again, I wouldn't be looking for like a one big move back to highs. I wouldn't be so confident on gold just yet. I still think we are a little bit choppy. Let's say if we do create highs here and pull back, I think just to move back to that high makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't be surprised really if gold starts to kind of flatten out again. Of course, maybe we just run back to highs. You can leave runners to continue, but the more probable opportunity would be a push back to wherever we're coming from. So gold, I'm leaning towards a more bullish situation here. But yeah, let's wait for a more confirmed breakout and a pullback to actually start to shape up because I wouldn't be doing anything. Shorts here could make sense a bit on the aggressive side of things. Yes, the market's a bit more flat these days, but again, if I zoom out to like a weekly chart, this is still a very, very bullish market. So any shorts in these conditions are always going to be a bit difficult, and you want to be highly aggressive with the management. If momentum starts to go against you, get out of there. So shorts make sense because of the location, but the context, it's a difficult trade. I think buys are the best bet. In terms of BTC, not looking good this morning. Really aggressive push down here. I'm not too sure what caused that. If anyone knows, let me know. I'm interested to find out. But very strong move back down here for BTC. Altogether, we are coming back to some very significant areas here. We've got a very strong level of demand, which gave us our last kind of major swing. So altogether, I think this is a very interesting level for the buyers. However, the sellers are still very much in control. So I wouldn't get excited about the buyers yet. Maybe in the next 2-3 weeks, things can shift, or maybe the start of next year. So I think as we approach Christmas period and the holidays, momentum start going to die, and for BTC to have a full-on reversal is going to need a lot of activity, which we might not see over the next 4 weeks. But post New Year's, we might see that happen. At the moment, yeah, sellers still in control. We did respect this area, which is where we're talking about on the weekly analysis. We talked about this supply zone and this supply zone as areas where price might test and come back down. Of course, this morning we started off very bearish. I like the shorts, but we've already pushed away from that level, so I wouldn't be looking to try and take any entries here. I'm far from my comfort level, which is supply or resistance. Here, you're kind of in the middle of nowhere, kind of coming back into some bullish territory. So I would suggest if we can get another pullback for BTC, this is a big if. We may or may not do this, but that's the only theoretical best place to take a short, because I'm coming back into territories where I know other sellers will enter the market. I'm not selling into a very overextended move anymore. This is where I want to try and position myself, but very well we could see BTC just continue to roll over. If that's the case, that's the case. But yeah, BTC intra-week kind of bias is definitely bearish here. Of course, like I said, we're coming to a big demand level. Things might reverse there, but I think that's more of a trade for the upcoming few weeks. So I'm not going to go into too much detail, just keep an eye on that level. But yeah, BTC still looking pretty bearish to me. We 108. My take is 103. I mean, I still think that 100 level is just not 100. Sorry, 100 to 250, or more or less 100. It's just such a big psychological level, actually, because it's such a big round number, 100. There's so much weighting around here, which is ridiculous. So if we break 100, effectively break this resistance, to be fair, 108 is not such a bad call, to be fair, because I think if I go to a weekly chart, there's also a very key low to our left here, which price kind of struggling to break above, break below. So if we clear 100 and get, and create some distance between current price and this low here, then yeah, I think 108 is actually quite likely at that point, to be honest. Kind of anywhere into this area, I think is a likely. But equally, if this is resistance and price doesn't break through, then yeah, we could even see just retest of this low and then price continues lower. So I can see it from both perspectives. If we get a successful break above this, it could mean a lot more upside. It's essentially a repeat of the pattern of what we did here. Very key resistance, price broke above, broke back below, and then we bled back to the upper. It could be a very similar situation again, and price reverses back above. Or maybe this time we're actually going to find resistance here and start to bleed and continue. I think it's actually quite 50-50 right now. But with the fact that we are fading at highs, not a good sign initially for the buyers there. So we'll see how that progresses. And if you crack that support, it's technically kind of like a break of structure to me. Yeah, I'll be leaning more towards this destination, if anything. But we'll see. News can change, situations can change, and by the end of the week, we could be looking at very bullish USD. So I don't want to be too predictive, but just a picture. BTC down to 60K. Where is 60K for BTC? What price are we trading at the moment? We're trading at 86 roughly. So 60K would take us back down to around here. Mainly we testing the prior highs potentially. I mean, this is a big zone which we consolidated and had a very sharp rally from. So it could be a situation where prices attracted towards the area. The thing with BTC and cryptocurrencies, they're very volatile, and a pullback to 60K, isn't such a dramatic move, to be honest. Of course, if you're very leveraged, it's going to feel dramatic, but in the context of things, we have very big pullbacks historically. So a pullback to 60K is actually not even that crazy. I mean, it is half from the high. 120 to 60 is 50% retracement of the whole market, but we've done deeper. So it's not actually that dramatic. But yeah, we'll see how things go. This week anyway, things are looking pretty bearish, and that's kind of where we're focused at. BTC to 60K as well. Got a lot of people bearish on BTC at the moment. Just, of course, all opinions. I think as a trader, it's not necessarily all about predictions and where price is going to go. It's just more so your actions in the market, because as a trader, naturally, you're going to have predictions and opinions of where you expect the market to go. It's difficult not to do that. But the only situation where having those predictions and opinions becomes negative is if you swear by them and then you ignore signs in the opposite direction, or ignore signs if it's not going to play out. So yeah, BTC might get to 60K, it might not. The thing is, it doesn't really matter if it gets there. It might get to 63K, then reverse. The matter is, kind of what we do with the market, how we place our entry stops, targets. That's really where the importance lies. But the way I see it, predictions is just an educated guess, and because the market is so difficult to predict all the time, 60% of the time you might be right, 40% of the time you might be wrong. Jonathan, Bank of Japan, could be. That could be a situation. I mean, at the moment, the yen is still very, very weak. Still very, very weak. Of course, CHF is very strong, and that's kind of like the more kind of complete safe haven currency, but yen is one too. And yeah, a lot of the yen pairs are down. I'm still quite interested to trade the yen pairs. I still think there's more upside to them, but of course, the yen has gained some strength probably in the last 24, 48 hours, and the yen is pushing down. So perhaps that could be another reason of what Jonathan's referring to there as well. But overall, the yen is still quite weak, but perhaps we might be seeing a shift. Personally, in terms of the technicals, which is where my focus is, I still do think we got more upside to give for the yen pairs. So I'm still very much looking to buy most currencies against the yen. That's still very much my game plan. Of course, we'll see if things change, but for me, that's still the likely direction. I'm looking at dollar yen here. I'm still looking at this massive resistance around 158.5. I'm still expecting price to go and smack into that level. GJ's got some nice resistance just above its head as well. Not quite there yet. I'm expecting price to go and smack into that level. Perhaps we're seeing one last retrace before we make that move. Of course, nothing's guaranteed here too. It's just, that's the plan I'm trading at the moment. You're out some major highs, so I'm not as enthusiastic to trade Euro Yen. The only thing that does appeal to me for Euro Yen is just because it's just such a clean, aggressive uptrend. So yeah, buying is just an easier task in this market. So that's what I'm quite attracted about with Euro Yen. But I like GJ and UJ because not only are they bullish too and have some nice trends, they've also got some levels that price is probably likely to retest too. So you've got another incentive for price to see higher prices. The other yen pairs which I don't like, Aussie yen, CAD yen, and New Zealand yen, I don't like these guys. And actually, I wouldn't actually mind some shorts here. I think if things are going to shift and yen is going to become strong, if I'm gonna trade that bias, then New Zealand yen, look where we're trading, major resistance. Looks like price potentially clawing back underneath that level. This might just be another rejection. We could see some downside there. CAD yen in a similar situation as well, back at major resistance. A couple attempts trying to break through, hasn't gone to plan. We could see a move down there. And Aussie yen, likewise as well, back at major resistance, might see a push down. So those yen pairs, I would not be looking to buy because at big levels doesn't make any sense. But we'll see. I think if the yen is going to shift around, then those are the three pairs to look to trade. And of course, they all move together, so we'll see similar moves. But I'm still very much looking for buys in dollar yen. I don't have a setup right now. I was actually looking at this low to see if it could hold this morning, but it broke underneath and stayed underneath as well. So I'm not seeing any opportunities here to go long just yet. I do like this zone just underneath us here. Nice demand zone, nice consolidation, rip to the upside. I do think it could be a smart opportunity to look for a retest of this zone for a long, but we will see. We're arriving at that area right now. In terms of pound yen's case, it's a little bit more choppy, but I have my eyes on this area here. Again, not too far away from that zone too. If we are going to hit 208, which is that big level there, which I expect us to, I would expect us to hold this level. If you start breaking through, then it could turn into a much more complex pullback. Or maybe it doesn't end up getting there. So my eyes are peeled on those two levels. In terms of my watch list, because I haven't actually gone through that yet, I've got a few on there. As I said, I'm currently trading dollar CAD, which is more or less just in a little bit of profit, just above my entry there. So we'll see how that position gets going. That's the only trade I'm in at the moment. In terms of USD pairs, which I'm interested in, as I spoke about earlier, pound USD, seeing what we can do basically at this low here. I'm seeing if we can get a closure back below, especially on the 8-hour chart, because the 8-hour is just finding support here. So if we can get a closure below, that would be my signal to say, okay, we're potentially having a bit of a fake out here. Resistance is still holding, looking for the retest and a short. So I'm looking for that on pound USD. In terms of Euro USD, we'll see what we can do here. I'm going to play it very cautious on Euro. Like I said, I'm still bullish on the DXY, but I'm not as confident as I've been in the past few weeks. So I'm becoming a bit more neutral. I still do think we can get a bounce, but I'm not going to be looking for a push back to these lows anymore. That's a little bit too aggressive. I mean, I will probably still leave a runner to run, but I'll be taking more profits earlier. And the run is just kind of, how do I say this? Just if price makes the move or not. I'm not necessarily expecting it to. But yeah, Euro shorts, pound USD short. I'm not looking to take them both, just whichever sets up the better one in terms of the risk to reward. I'm ready in a USD pair, so I don't want to overdo it. In terms of the yen pairs, like I said, pound yen, dollar yen, and euro yen, I like those three together. Again, not looking to trade all of them. Very similar trades, just looking to see which one forms better. I'm still expecting that yen weakness, but overall, the strength on the yen pairs to continue. Those three look the best for it. In terms of the crosses, I'm keeping a close eye on pound Aussie. I think I might have missed the boat on this one. I really like the wick we had last week there. Resistance still holding. We've been super consistent with these lower highs recently. 1, 2, 3. This looks to me like a fourth. And I'm looking to see if we can get a retest of the high before we get the short back to the low. As I said, I think I might have missed the boat. Maybe price just does continue lower. If that's the case, that's the case. But it would be nice to see if we can get a retest of that, and a very similar opportunity on pound CAD as well. I like the way price has had that breakage of the level, but then redeemed it. So again, looking to see if we can continue back to lows. Very similar trade ideas. Both looking to short pound. Both looking for the retest of the high. Again, not necessarily looking to trade them both, but keeping an eye to see which one can set up better for myself. And then in terms of some of the CHF pairs, I do like CAD CHF. I do think we're coming back to some nice resistance here. I'm looking to see if I can get a better entry because there's a nice rejection here just as the week was ending. But again, I didn't want to take a trade there. It didn't make any sense because I'll be taking a trade just as the weekly is about to close. I risk gaps, spread, not great. So I wanted to enter as today opens up. But yeah, I wanted to see if I can get a bit of a tighter entry close to that level just to maximize the risk reward and give me that better reaction. Because I do think, although this is still a very bearish market, I do think this trend is starting to tire. We had a very aggressive swing here, didn't actually manage to make new lows. So that's the first sign to say that, okay, the trend is still intact but tiring, and we're getting more aggressive and deeper pullbacks too, and not really seeing as much force anymore. So the trend is still there, but it's tiring. So I'm not going to be oblivious to that and just shoot for the moon back to lows here. Of course, that would be great if we can get that. But realistically, the more probable move is probably just a reaction off resistance. Then maybe price forms a higher lows and retraces. But if I can still profit from that, I'm happy. And then maybe if we do get a continuation, I can leave a run to leave as well. I can profit from the bigger move there too. So not trying to guess what the market's going to do, but just making sure I'm treating the context appropriately. Still a very bearish market. Higher time frame still pointing down. Primarily, you still want to be taking shorts, but being a bit more careful now because we're getting some red flags that perhaps this trend is dying and perhaps a bigger retracement is coming, which I do think is going to be the case for a lot of the CHF pairs because they've been trending for quite a while. I do think perhaps a bigger pullback is due. Maybe CHF is growing tired from being so strong. CS, what's up? I see UJ going to 160. Okay, nice. Before Bank of Japan does anything. This time is the current period is different now. True. Is kind of a different situation, different environment. Whereas UJ, so you're looking at 160. And that will take us back to this area here. I mean, 160 is a massive psychological level, so I can see price being attracted to that. I mean, I'm looking at these two technical highs here, so that's kind of where my focus is. First target, second target. But yeah, similar logic, to be honest. What's up? Most five up to the stream. Hope you're doing good. I think BT will fall to 74k because there is a double bottom there and has been driving market to that 120k. Can we join you on the USDCAD trade? Well, yeah, you have the freedom of the market, do what you please. But of course, any risk you take is going to be your risk, not mine. So, be responsible. But again, like I always say, I take my trades, I share my trades. If you guys want to take them too, that's completely up to you. There's no, I'm not showing my trades for you guys to take them. I'm just kind of documenting my trades on the stream. So that's the true purpose of that. But if you're going to take them, then there's nothing stopping you to do that. But yeah, in terms of the 74k, again, people say 74, 60k. To me, I'm not really thinking too far ahead really with BTC because it's just a very volatile market. I know that coming to the end of the year, I'm expecting volume to drop. I'm expecting us to not really get any follow through right now. So I think we'll probably see this bearish trend just kind of continue but fizzle out at the same time. And then we'll see where we're trading at come New Year's. Maybe we're still in the zone, maybe we're slightly below it. Maybe price might want to go and take out this low here potentially. That could be the situation. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, we're definitely looking very bearish. And of course, if you go to a lot of the cryptocurrencies, they're all down. I mean, if you look at you can't see my face is blocking it. But in terms of, actually, you can see if I just scroll up. But if you look at all the percentages, we're not looking too good here for cryptocurrencies. I'm supposed to look at the indices. Let me take a look at the indices. Indices haven't been too hot either. It's been a while since we've seen new highs for them, so that's always a bad thing with the indices. But to be honest, I wouldn't panic. It's not like we're seeing aggressive bearish behavior. We have seen some lower lows and lower highs, yes. But looking at the major US indices, the trend is still intact. Higher time frames still look very bullish to me. Key structure still holding. I wouldn't start looking to short aggressively. I did say in the weekly analysis that we are trading in a nice supply zone. And I do think we'll see a bearish reaction here. And so far we have seen that. Of course, be cautious if you're looking for the home run, because there will be people looking for another swing high here, 1, 2, 3, which could be the case. And maybe we do see a swing all the way back to the low there, perhaps. But it's always going to be such a difficult trade. If you're going to be shorting a bullish market like the S&P, be prepared to exit the trade early. If you're going to have big targets, be prepared to exit the trade early, because mathematically, it just doesn't make sense to be looking for big swings to the downside as the market is overly very bullish. Doesn't mean you can't, and that doesn't mean there isn't a time where it's actually a good trade. But even if it is still a good trade, you have to still be cautious. So I like the shorts here. Just taking it as it goes. This is clearly an area which you're going to keep an eye on. It's not too far away from price, but it's an area definitely to keep an eye on. If price does go and break through this supply zone, then yeah, we probably are just going to see us just continue for a while now, because this could just be our pullback over, and now we're expecting price to rip. We do have that big 7K for the S&P just hovering above price. I think that's still a big magnet, to be honest. So in the long run, we're likely to see new highs. Whether we'll have a bigger pullback first, that's up to the S&P. But this is still bearish territory, so I wouldn't be looking to buy the S&P right now. This is still where the sellers are lurking. Likewise with the NAS, have we actually tested? Yeah, we have tested as well. So a similar situation. We've got one high, second high, and there's our third one. Bit of a reaction, already coming back into this area as well. So risk to wasn't looking particularly great. Yeah, so looking to use lower time frames probably makes the most sense there. But in terms of my bias for the indices, it depends what time frame you're looking at. If you're looking at the day, the bias is still very bullish. US 30. S&P, Nasdaq, still very bullish for all the indices, really, all the major US indices. In terms of intraday, I would be probably bearish for today because of where we're trading coming back into the supply zone. In terms of the week's bias, again, trying to predict what color the candle of the week is, it is technically 50-50, but still, I don't think it's the best way to approach it. The best way from our experience to approach a market in terms of a bias is just follow the context of the market. If the market is in the bullish trend, you're bullish. If the market's a bearish trend, you're bearish. If the market's ranging, you're neutral or you're not looking to trade. That's the best way to form a bias. It's you got probability on your side. You're not trying to overcomplicate things. As for what each day is going to do and what each week's going to do, again, still kind of 50-50, even bullish or bearish too, but at the same time, more guesswork in there, more room for error. You don't want to be too precise over the finer details, especially when you go into the lower time frames as well. So in terms of just overall market bullish, in terms of the location here, we can see a reaction, and technically we have done. So I would suggest if you're not already in the trade, I wouldn't be looking to get some shorts now. I think it's a little bit late to the party. Same for the S&P as well. And you've got support not too far away. Maybe we do see something like this, but I just wouldn't bank on it. So yeah, that's kind of my take for the indices. LFTJ, I'm thinking it can range as we approach December to 74K. Then as the year starts, we see uptrend. Yeah, that's kind of what I was hinting at as well, to be honest, because I think naturally, because of course the current climate is currently bearish. Everyone can see that. We've been falling for the past few weeks now. So for this to reverse, it's going to take significant buying pressure. And as we approach the festive period, the likeliness to see that is lower. Not that it won't happen, it can. I've seen some Christmases where we actually get some really big moves, even on some of the currency pairs, and indices too. So it's not like 100% okay. We're approaching December, everything's just going to dry up. That's actually far from the truth. It just means that for less liquid markets like crypto currencies, it's going to take a little bit more effort for us to reverse. So yeah, we could see price kind of fizzle out towards that 74K area, which is this low. Then maybe as volume picks up again, as the start of the new year, we might pick up and maybe see that reversal. We would have to see, of course, trading just kind of keeping up to date with the price. Maybe we do see a reversal before that. But yeah, I'll be careful with that with BTC, especially if you're looking for longs at the moment. But to be honest, in terms of kind of in the more risk markets, Bitcoin, even to a certain degree, looking at kind of like oil as well, I'll kind of just leave those alone for now. If we take a look at oil, oil, to be honest, the price action is just very dry. It's like price hasn't changed from where we've been like before. I took the break on streams. I feel like price is still in the same place. So no progression there for oil. I've still been talking about pushback to support here. Do I still think it's going to happen? Yes, but I would be a lot more reluctant to trade that full swing. The reason why I liked oil previously is because we had such an aggressive move, consolidation, aggressive move, consolidation, aggressive move. Now this bearish move is quite flat. The probability of us just seeing that bigger drop to get there is less likely. Shorts still look good here. For the most part, we've been very consistent with these lower highs, as we can all make out. But would I be looking forward, to try and catch a lower high here to see if I can trade it back to this low? I think that's a little bit too greedy. Something a bit more logical would be a move to this low, even this low here as well. That's playing it safe, probabilistic move. If price goes against you, still walk away for small profit. And I'm not necessarily saying that you should target this level and be done with the trade. I think this is good for partialing out You're taking a bit of your profits, leaving some to run. So you're a bit more, dimensional with the market, rather than just say, okay, I expect it to get here. If it doesn't, I take a loss or a break even, when that's probably what's going to happen. But anyway, I do think oil's coming to a nice place. I like the supply zone here to our left here. The consistency of the lower highs makes a lot of sense. There's probably a good reaction to the downside, likely. How big a one? That's the question. That will be the question. I'm kind of hoping to see a bit more weakness for oil, because it will help out my USD-CAD trade. Because with USD at the moment right now, I don't necessarily have USD strength in my favor. If you look at the DXY, it's not necessarily strong. It's been falling since since the start of last week, pretty much. So, or kind of midweek. Actually, no, yeah, start of last week. So it's been falling since the start of last week. So I don't necessarily have that strength for USD-CAD to get going. Of course, things change. We've got news later. We'll have to wait and see. But right now, I do think CAD's doing me a bit more favors than USD. And again, I'm just looking for price to see if we can get to that 1-to-1. I'm not so completely optimistic that dollar CAD gets here, to be honest. This is like my best case scenario. Truthfully, I'm seeing if I can just catch a reaction to a 1-to-1, manage the trade, maybe get a 1-to-2 on this trade as well, and then we'll see from there. We'll see if we can get the bigger swing. I think one big lesson that I'm taking from 2025 into 2026 is being a little bit more flexible with my trades. Some trades look good to push for the home runs. Some trades just look good just to be in and out and walk away. You don't want to be looking for the home run, and equally, you don't want to be looking for the quick profit every time. You kind of want to play both sides of the coin there, because if you focus on the big moves too much or focus on the small moves too much, either way, you're going to be harming your upside potential. Because if you always take profits quickly, the big ones that get away from you, those will be your big drivers of your equity curve. You'll be cutting them short. And equally, if you're looking for the big move every time, first of all, it's just not going to happen every time. And secondly, you're going to be in a situation where a lot of healthy profit just goes to break even, or even worse, a loss. And those smaller profits can still do good service to your equity curve. Help with drawdown, or slowly climb the equity curve as well. So one of the big lessons from this year for me is being a little bit more multi-dimensional. And I'm taking that into this trade here as well, because with dollar CAD, it's not the most aggressive uptrend. Dollar's not really aggressive right now. I do think we can catch a reaction off this low, really aggressive wick to the downside at the end of last week. There's a likeliness for us to push up. We've got this supply zone just above our heads. Perhaps if we are going to see some upside, we might see a pullback and then a continuation there. But by the time we get there, I would have been able to reduce risk, take partials, and be in a comfy situation. And of course, if we go further, that's great as well. I'll leave runners to continue that. But yeah, that's the only position I have on at the moment. Going to see how we get on with some of the other USD pairs. For now, I do have a lot of my focus on pound yen and dollar yen. So we're going to see if we can get some buys there, because I do really like the trend for both of them. And I do think both of them is likely to test resistance. And again, I'm just looking to trade one of them as well. So I'm not going to be too aggressive on the yen side of things. And if we take a look at the yen basket, which I think is still quite interesting right now, because it's been super bearish. It's completely broken through this support level. And I did say, if price breaks through the support level, then the next realistic target would be this low. And that's still very much the plan with me. Nothing's changed. Yes, we're seeing some bullish momentum today. That doesn't change anything. We could see a move like this over the next 2-3 days, and that still doesn't change anything for me. In terms of, I'm still expecting a push back to 55, 54 down here. If price was to break above this, then yeah, that's something significant. I will look to reinterpret the price action and probably change my bias. But until something like that happens, which at the moment still looks very unlikely, I'm still expecting us to come back to test these lows. We've got a very long-standing bearish trend since 2019. Of course, that's only when the data set goes up to. I'd imagine we would have had a bit of a bullish trend before that, but still, market's been falling for quite some time. We've broken through key support. There's a very high chance we still have a bit more downside there for the yen. So if that's the case, if the yen basket is still likely to keep falling, then you still like to see GJ climb, still like to see UJ climb, EJ, etc., etc. So I'm still very much looking to take the buys here. And to be honest, when you do see that bullish momentum that goes against the trend, it's actually opportunity, because this is the point where people start to question the bias. Because if you think about it, if everything is just falling out the sky, everyone knows the market's bearish, everyone knows the current situation, everyone's pretty much got the same idea. They're either looking to follow the trend and keep selling to the market, or you got some people who try to call the bottoms. That's pretty much the only two plays you're looking at. When you get this situation here where you do have a bearish trend and you start to see some momentum go up a bit, now things are getting questioned. Now people are thinking, wait, is this actually a reversal? Is this a bottom? Is the trend still looking to continue? People are a bit more unsure. When things are just falling, like for example, like gold, early in the year when the trend was very strong, is literally black and white. You're either following the trend and you're extremely bullish from gold, or you're trying to short the trend and catch the highs. You're literally doing one of the two. Now you got people who are not too. Of course, you're either doing one of the two. You're still shorting, or you're buying. You can't do anything other than that. But in terms of the confidence of people, it's low now, because the people who are looking for reversals, I'm not too sure if this is a reversal, and people who are looking for continuations, I'm not too sure if it's a continuation. Everyone's a bit more fearful now of the other side of the coin happening, and a bit more unsure. Not necessarily fearful, but unsure. And that's kind of where I think opportunity lies, because when most people are unsure, that's kind of where you want to step in and take that risk, because everyone's going to become sure again when momentum kicks back in. Everyone's like, oh yeah, it is bearish, but by then it's already too late, or your risk reward's not going to be great anymore. So as we get this momentum here back to resistance, we'll see what we do there. If we break through that, then I'll look at what we do here. And I'll look for my opportunities. Pound, yen, dollar, and euro will be my focus for now. But we'll see how we get with the dollar CAD trade, see what we do with the DXY this week. That's really where my focus is. Crosses, I'm kind of staying away. A lot of them are just so choppy. Like this is Aussie CAD. Like, what is this price action? This is horrendous. I mean, from experience, I can tell you trying to trade in these areas is just really difficult. Not that you won't be able to take a profit from here, but in terms of consistency, it's just very difficult. You want to be up high or down low, especially in ranging markets. Typically in the middles where you give back your profits here. So I will stay away from Aussie CAD. New Zealand CAD, I still like the trend. We've technically broken through some structure here, but it's not all. I would say it's a significant break, but I'm now bullish. I'm still looking for a push back to the low here. I'm looking more so at this supply zone slightly higher up. So I want to see a bit more upside this week back into this high, and then hopefully maybe towards the end of the week I might look for some shorts then New Zealand CAD, but that'll be a topic of discussion maybe towards the end of the week. Pound CAD, like I said, looking to see if we get the retest of the high there. Again, that might be a trade, maybe more so midweek. EuroCAD, not so interested, very flat on this one. I just want to see whether we break highs or break lows. That's where my interest lies. In the middle, I don't see too much opportunity. Pound Aussie, like I said, I do like this one, expecting more downside, the continuation of this trend here. Didn't mean to go back too far. Aussie New Zealand dollar, not really interested. It's at a significant area, which I'm not too sure if price is going to start to bleed or still look to continue the trend. It's in an indecisive point right now. So I'm not going to step in when things are a little bit indecisive. Euro pound is a very flat pair, to be honest. It has been quite bullish. It's done a good job, but I'm just not confident looking to try and continue. It's looking like it's slowing down too. Euro Aussie, extremely flat as well. Staying away from this one, especially in the middle. If we can get to the extremes, I do see opportunity there, whether to the highs or to the lows. I do see opportunity on both sides. And that could be something I look at later in the week, but absolutely not at current price. Euro entity, this again is still a trend which is still continuing. I do think it's drying up a little bit, so I'm not as confident trying to look to keep buying this, to be honest. We're still seeing some aggressive momentum. In terms of opportunities, I do think there could be something back at support here, similar to my CAD CHF idea, in terms of you still want to be a buyer because the trend is still up. But I wouldn't be looking to shoot for the moon or shoot back to highs. More so, can I find a reaction at support? Likely to, and then I could probably walk away for a smaller profit. Pound entity, same situation here too. We are testing some highs to our left, and we're really struggling at them as well. So not trying to be so aggressive with the buyers. I do think this support level is likely to give us a bounce, of course, provided we see some healthy rejection here. And then we can take advantage of that. But again, not trying to be too optimistic. And then the CHF pairs, still pretty bearish in terms of CHF in a range. Looks like a lot of the AUD pairs are ranging right now. I want to be up here. Using the CHF, there could be a bit of a reaction here as well. CAD CHF, like I said, I do like this one. I'm not too sure if I'll get my entry there. We'll have to wait and see. Euro CHF, I actually don't like the shorts on this one. We've swept some key lows here, and that's given us a bit of a boost. You can see the buyers swept that low and had a really aggressive reaction. I don't want to be the first one to try and sell this back down again, especially if you look to the left. It's actually a very flat market. We're more or less coming to the middle of the range as well, so I don't like that aspect. And pound CHF, likewise as well, it's actually found itself back above this low here, which to me is a bit of a red flag for the sellers. We could easily find support and see some more upside. So yeah, not the biggest fan of the CHF pairs. I like CAD CHF. It's more so of a reaction that I'm looking for, with the hopes that maybe we do get a fuller continuation and it could be a larger runner, but we'll see. But yeah, guys, we'll wrap up the stream here. I'm going to start to do slightly shorter streams from 10 to 11 UK time. Potentially, I might look to increase the streams again, or maybe shift the times around to maybe more kind of interesting times, like maybe in the New York session. We've got some more news coming out later in the New York session, or maybe even early in the London session as well. Especially one of the benefits of being in Kigali is that we're 2 hours ahead at the moment, anyway, 2 hours ahead of the UK. So, and that 2 hours buffer is quite handy, because 7 a.m. in the UK is 9 a.m. here. It's not too early. So yeah, I might experiment with that. I'll probably do some polls and see what you guys say in terms of stream times as well. Of course, I've always streamed at this time, so I guess everyone's used to it, but we might experiment with some, when we get some bigger news coming out, maybe like an NFP or Fed interest rate, might stream a little bit later. So I'll let you guys know. But yeah, it's good to be back, guys. I do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. If you have enjoyed the stream, please be sure to drop a like, guys. Of course, I will be live again tomorrow. Should be back to the regular schedule for now. So looking forward to be back, and I really do appreciate all you guys tuning in and welcome you back to the streams as well. A lot more content along the way, more frequent videos as well, midweek as well. And also check out the channel memberships for trade signals when I do take them, and of course added members tips, advice, technicals as well. Check it out if you're interested. But guys, really appreciate you tuning in. I'll let you know how the dollar CAD trade gets going. If I do take any other positions, we'll run through them on tomorrow's stream. But yeah, guys, thank you for tuning in. Have a great day, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Take care.